welcome back to WUB Network, America's sports leader, for the fourth ever Skip McGuines career mode video. In this one, we will be taking on the number 02 for Tyler Young Motorsports, looking for a top 18 at Iowa. And while I'm racing, I also am going to talk about what to expect in the next couple weeks on the channel. So first order of business, all of this will also be in a video tomorrow night, but so you don't have to worry about seeing it tomorrow, then I'll just tell you now. So first off, since you're all here, Progressive Cup race is going to get pushed back to next weekend. School has been ridiculously busy this week, and I'm going to try to get a lot of the filming done over the weekend, and then I'm probably going to have it done by the middle of next week, but of course I can't record the commentary till the weekend, so since that's the case, if I have any extra time, I'll just start shooting race 21 at Bristol, as I'll start qualifying now. So that's the first order of business. I'm going to have an announcement coming up this weekend also about the Xfinity Series, because the first race of the Xfinity Series will be in 2 weeks. So next week we'll have the race at Watkins Glen, and then I'm going to try to stick to, when there's no Progressive Cup Series race on those weekends, trying to get an Xfinity race up. And I'll be explaining how that'll all work and the 18 race schedule that's going to be done. A 14 race regular season and a 4 race playoff. That video should be out this weekend, maybe a couple days after. I qualified 27th, not too great in the number 02. Ahead of Dowza, Chastain, Greenfield, and Boyd, and on the pole is Noah Gragson. So let's move on to the race, as we'll try to battle back and try to get this top 18. The other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the basketball leagues. So the NBA 2K videos, I'm trying to get back into the swing with. 3-man basketball league is going to come back February 1st. I'm going to finish it up in February, and then off season probably till like the summer. Shetty basketball league, there will be games this weekend. I will be uploading them on my channel. There will be 4 games this weekend. The teams who have not yet played will play their week 1 games, and the first 4 teams will play their week 2 games. As for the actual NBA stuff, none this weekend. Next weekend, I will put up another highlight vid of that. Those will be every other week from now on. So just, in general, a lot of Shetty basketball this week, the Xfinity Series announcement, and like the pre-Watkins Glen race update thingy. And then next weekend will be Watkins Glen, will be another one of these videos, and an NBA video. And then the following weekend will probably be more Shetty basketball, at least 2 more Shetty basketball league games, depending on if they're going on Shane 2K. I'm still having issues uploading to his, so deal with that is that at least for the first week, all the games will just be on my channel. But aside from that, the Shetty basketball league and the first Xfinity race will be 2 weekends from now. And then that wraps up January, and the week after that will be Bristol, and then another week, and then Darlington, and that takes us to President's Day and the end of the regular season in the Progressive Cup Series. Anyway, we are looking pretty strong so far, with just 1 lap to go in the stage. We are up to 22nd, 4 positions away from the goal, as we almost got extremely loose right there. And here comes Wendell Chavis on the inside. And I didn't realize that until a couple races ago, that he drives for Premium Motorsports. So I guess the official paint scheme of Premium Motorsports, as knowing Sorensen and Cope in the Cup Series on this game, the official paint scheme of Premium Motorsports is just a plain black car with no sponsors. Regardless, we are going to try to hold on to 22nd, and we do, and that's the end of stage number 1. So we gained 5 spots, heading in the right direction here at Iowa. And as always, depending on how long this goes, I may do a second one. Noah Gragson takes the stage. No worries about tires or gas. Alright, so we'll restart on the outside, which kind of scares me, so now I'm starting to think maybe I should have let Chavis pass right before the end of the stage. Anyway, 7 laps, 1 lap longer for this stage. And Todd Peck is really slowing me down. We're going to try to go 3 wide with Austin Hill and Peck. Bounce a little off both. There's the men I have raced with in pretty much every race. Myatt Snyder and Joe Nemechek. I go a little too hard, get Regan Smith a little loose. Now it's going to be 3 wide, 4 wide, no, just 3 wide. But I get up to 17th, and now I am 1 position to the good in my goal. And I get into Stuart Friesen and Tommy Joe Martins. Everybody saves it. But now I fall back a couple spots, knock Friesen out of the picture, and Tommy Joe's back to 16th, and the caution's going to come out. Friesen probably lost it. He's back to 30th now. Not going to pit as always, so let's just restart this baby. Once we get to the full season, I'll be doing 25% races. Skip McGuines restarting. Let's see how many laps left in the stage. Just 3. Let's see if we can better our position. Don't want to get into Tommy Joe Martins. I like Tommy Joe. I don't know if you guys heard, but his race team got shut down. Which is kind of upsetting. But hopefully he can find a ride for the Truck Series season. Speaking of needing a ride, Blake Cook, who had his standout season, as I end up nailing Cindric into the wall. Blake Cook, who had a standout season in the Xfinity Series after nearly a decade-long career in the series, is going to get knocked out of the shuffle after almost 5 years with Colleague Racing. Blake Cook now doesn't have a ride as they've picked up Ryan Truex. Another example of teams going very low budget. Blake Cook now is going to be looking for a ride, and he could end up out of the shuffle. And I'm racing with someone who I think could be similar to his fate, Regan Smith. I am going to let Smith pass so I can try to get on the inside for the restart. That works out perfectly. I'll be 13th. But I'm hoping Blake Cook can get a ride. And you know, honestly, I'd even think about him in the Cup Series. If I was one of those small teams, instead of rolling out like Turtle Killer, Greg Alding, or 60-year-old Derek Hope, at least so you have some promise and something to build on. He's the type of guy who would fit perfectly in that. Let's restart here. 9 laps to go. We're in 13th. Best finish is 12th. We're in line for a possible top 10 at Gateway, and then my car just completely gave away from me in the last couple laps, and I had an incident with Christopher Bell. But I think this Tyler Young team, as long as they can hold things up for another 8+ laps, is going to be very impressed with this run. But I just really slid up. Now I'm 3 wide, the pedigree car on the inside. I am going to clear Smith, not Gilliland. He's coming back as we battle hard for 11th. I am going to do a second race after this. I really want that top 10. 7 laps, no need to rush. Matt Kraft in 10th place. I think maybe his worst run of the season. He and Ben Rhodes have been absolutely insane this year. As I'm going to lose the position for a moment to Regan Smith, it's pretty obvious that the tires are starting to go away. And the damage on the front end from when I rammed into the 19 of Cindric probably is not helping either. I will clear Regan Smith for the moment, so that does get me back to 12th. I'm still half a second behind Todd Gilliland. Now Cindric comes with a big head of steam, but I'm able to put the block down. Now I've got to go Dale Jr. style and block 2 lanes. Gilliland gets another 1/10 of a second ahead. Just seeing if there's any way that we can reel in this 46 car. 46 truck, rather. I always get mixed up beyond belief. I always say car when I'm talking about trucks, and I think I've done it in other videos before. I just get so mixed up. The only series where you're not driving cars. 4 laps to go. I really want to reel in Gilliland because I am currently running in the position that's my best career finish, and now Austin Cindric's going to get by, and now I'm not in line for that. So back to 13th I go. I'm going to be a little more aggressive in the corners. And all I'm doing is pushing Cindric up the hill. And that's going to open up the door for Tommy Joe Martins, who I ended up booting, I think, out of the top 20. And he has somehow been resilient and battled all the way back. Cindric on the outside trying to power by. I make a little contact. Now I got to defend from the 42 of Tommy Joe Martins. Just seeing if there's any way I can get by this 19 and at least equal my career best finish. This is one of the first times I've run Iowa. I think I did once, maybe once online. I've now been online for 2 weeks. To the bottom, and I'm going to squeeze past the 19 of Cindric, keep it out of the wall with 1 lap to go. And it is time to get aggressive. Can I reel in that 46? It doesn't look like it. Not going to overdo anything here. And Cindric, darn it, he's going to get by. Got to defend self. 3 wide behind me, and I'm going to hang on for 13th. Not my career best. And I end up getting punted right to end the race by Austin Wayne Self, and for some reason stop in the middle of the track. 100 speed rating. Good race. Was hoping for a little better. It's clear the handling went away as the race went on. Stuart Friesen still finished outside the top 20. Ross Chastain, who's locked into the playoffs, finished last. Christopher Bell with the win. I believe that's his 2nd of the season. I'm 30th in points ahead of Matt Mills and Brian Dowza, and I have not had a hot seat in either of their cars, which really says something about them. But aside from that, nice job with the top 15. I know I got money. What's next? Is that Eldora? No, that's Kentucky. Let's see. Offer? No offer. Alright, so let's continue. Let's just see who won. Austin Cindric won the race. Wednesday, that's Eldora now. I don't know if I want an Eldora hot seat. Yeah, I mean, I've had some troubles. If you guys raced me online, you know I had some issues. Noah Gragson wins at Eldora. At least the Kraft and Rhodes dominance, where they won 5 of the first 6 races of the season, have started to fade. No idea what track this is. Alright, we'll find out what track this is now. Top 8 for Chase Briscoe at Pocono. Let's get into this. And I know this is going to be a rather short race because of the size of the track. This is like going to be one of those 2-lap stages race. But oh man. Top 8. That means I have to get my career best. And Chase Briscoe is getting booted out of the 29 car to give me an opportunity. So guidance counselor Brad, as David Land calls him, he said he didn't have a spot on his team. Well, he just booted his up-and-coming driver to make some room for Skip McGuinness. Very interesting move on his part. And I'm kind of sick staring at Ben Rhodes. Okay, the Tricky Triangle, a track that I have been to 3 times before. And you know, as I'm racing at Pocono, I am going to tell you an interesting story that I have. Okay, so we kind of glitched out for a minute with iPhone technology. So, sorry about that. So, anyway, I ended with a long about a story. So, I've been to 5 different NASCAR tracks. 2, and only one of which I've actually seen races at. I've been in the Hall of Fame at Daytona and Darlington. On my trip to Florida, we drove to Florida, and whoa, no, we'll be starting last here. And that's going to be it with this qualifying. And let's just forfeit. We'll start last. Anyway, Pocono I've been to 3 times. I'll get back to that. Richmond I've been right outside. And then Dover, of course, I went, if you've seen, I went to the Xfinity race the last 2 seasons. Alright, sorry about that again. I had to take a phone call, but we're going to start the race from last. But, okay, so I've seen the races at Dover. I've attended and looked at Richmond and Daytona and Darlington. But the ones I want to talk about is Pocono. Only 2 laps on the stage. So Pocono, I've been to 3 times. In 2011, I went to Sprint Cup qualifying there. In 2013, I went to Sprint Cup practice and qualifying there. And then, 2012, I was supposed to see the Cup race. So my dad had arrangements. He had a friend who worked on a radio station. And me and him and his friend and his daughter were going, and we were going to interview Chase Mattioli. And if you don't know who that is, his father is Dr. Joseph Mattioli, who at this point is the owner of Pocono Raceway. Chase Mattioli, I stuck him in my Pocono race. I always do in my races. He used to run in the truck series, but he's got into more of a business end. And this was when I was 8 years old, and my dad's friend let me interview him alongside him and ask him a couple questions about Pocono and NASCAR and stuff. So we're making a lot of spots up. But we were supposed to see the race. Now that day, they were reporting a possible downpour. It was not confirmed, but then we went onto pit road, and you could just see this black cloud that was about to burst. And then we went to, like, the area, if you've been to a NASCAR race, outside, like, and Pocono, it's not in the infield, it's just right outside the track. They have an area where they, like, sell all the cars, the die casts and stuff, and then it starts to pour. And then we ran out of that place because the thunderstorm and the pouring rain, it was awful. That race, by the way, they did end up getting in later that day, but we didn't want to stay because it just became a mess. And Pocono is not the type of place you want to be when it rains. And I've already gained 19 spots in 2 laps. But anyway, fact of the matter, Pocono, if it's raining, not many good places to go. But that's my little story. Now let's focus back on this. I went from 31st to 12th, and if I didn't get booted there by Myatt Snyder, I would have had a chance probably at getting some stage points. 2 laps to go here in stage number 2. I'm hoping I can get a run. Austin Cindric, I had a little bit of issues with him in the last race at Iowa, but he's my teammate. In this one, big run on the outside, just keep it off the wall, and I'm in the top 10. Remember, 8th is the goal. I don't know exactly how many laps are in the race. I'm going to say 10, so I think there's probably going to be 6 laps in stage 3. Whoa, man. Not good. And we just got booted. And that's going to bring out the caution. End of the stage. Darn it. Went a little too aggressive there. And this too much damage. Wait, I do have to pit. Don't worry about that. But I know I'm going to be dead last again. Alright, so we're going to have to work back from 31st again. And not a lot of laps. I need to get 23 spots for Brad to put Skip McGuinness into consideration and do it in 5 laps, so this should be interesting. 4 laps for that matter. Oh boy, this is going to be weird. Alright. Getting towards the end of the hot seats, probably by early February, we'll be into the truck season. And I just annihilated the back of the 12 of Spencer Boyd. And that's the car that I've still had my best career finish in, 12th place. Hoping to better that today. I gotta just be lucky and make the best of these runs down the longest stretch in NASCAR between turns 1 and 2 at the Tricky Triangle. Alright, so we're up to 24th. Just gotta not be too aggressive, but at the same time, be aggressive. Trying to be a little much. There's the car I was just a hot seat in. 02 of Tyler Young. 3 laps to go here from Pocono. We are in 18th. And Todd Gilliland is in my way. Just turn around, Todd. And I really can't afford to pit. So we're going to go from 21st with damage in overtime, looking to get 13 spots in 2 laps. Oh boy. And this car is slow. Oh my. This could get bad. Okay, 2 laps to go. Trying to at least make something of this race and see if I could somehow, some way get to that 8th place position. But I highly doubt that happening. And stupid Todd Gilliland won't get out of my way. Okay. Okay, I got a nice draft off of Chavis. And that's not going to work, and that's... You know what? I'm just going to pit. Deal with it. Start last, and just with a completely repaired car, see how much I can make back. This race just... not my day. Kind of stinks, though. The biggest team we get might be our worst hot seat. So we're going to have a lot to build on. And probably only maybe 2 or 3 left in the season. Because now this is the second Pocono weekend, if you go chronologically. So we are in, like, early August. We made the jump from late June to early August through this video. Because there were 2 races in a row I did not get hot seats for, those being Kentucky and Eldora. Let's see, can we get to 8th place? A big challenge. Can we take it? That bobble actually just saved me from going up towards the wall. And we are going to be about 20th place with 1 lap to go. We are going to be aggressive and get all the way down along the checkers down here. Carrying a ridiculous amount of speed into turn 1. And that was my best corner probably of the race. We are up to 15th. But I think I am just a little too far back for that 8th place. It's going to come down to the wire here. As I hook Cody Coughlin, slam the wall, and that's going to be the race. 18th place, so I'm not going to reach the goal. Kind of disappointing. Let's see what Brad has to say. Still tied now with Dowza in the points. Just find out. Well, we'll find out another time who won that race. But just want to see what BKR tells me. Very disappointing that I wasn't able to win this. Pocono's a tough track. Alright. Been following your progress this season. I'm excited to see which team you choose. Hashtag tough choices from Ben Rose. We are going to just see where the next hot seat is, and of course, I know it might not be the same truck, and it's going to be at Michigan, and according to right now, I'll be stealing John Hunter Nemechek's ride. So that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed. This is WV Network signing off. We'll see you next time.